This is the most anticipated smart security camera of the year. No internet connection needed.
What's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story that I've got for you guys today, the latest couple of physique updates from Andrea Mamelei. There's a lot of guys in this Arnold Classic physique lineup that look really impressive. We're seeing all of these guys post tons of updates pretty much every single day. And Andrea Mamelei is really one of the standouts for me. And now knowing this Olympia story with Andrea Mamelei in 2025, this last Olympia, he didn't hear his name be called for his call out, and it was one of the better call outs. It was the third call out, and because of that, he never got his fair comparison and earned his placing just kind of as a default 16th place, tie for last. So we really don't know how he would have done at the Olympia had he heard his name called for that call out and been compared against the top guys, because when we look at all the updates that we've been seeing for the guys in this Arnold Classic lineup, like I said, Andrea Mamelei is standing out to me a lot. This front double bicep shot, he's a very muscular classic physique guy. Dense, grainy, he's in really good shape. And we're kind of basing a lot of our assumptions for how this Arnold is going to go based on Olympia placings. Mike Sommerfeld, the clear favorite. I don't think that changes with Andrea Mamelei's how he would have placed at the Olympia, because Mike was runner-up again at the Olympia, first to Chris Bumstead, then to Ramon. He is also the defending Arnold Classic champ. We're talking about Menengate, who was 7th at the Olympia, and who knows, maybe Andrea Mamelei could have worked his way up to a placing like 7th or better. So I think he's very intriguing to me. Then you look at this other update that he posted a couple days ago showing his side leg. And I don't think we've seen this kind of detail and leg development from anybody else at this point in their prep from the Arnold Classic in the Classic physique lineup. So he's got a fantastic structure. He's got a lot of muscle, and he's in really good shape. Arguably one of the better conditioned guys that we've seen so far prepping for the show. And I think maybe he could end up being the surprise of the show based on all these factors. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about Andrea Mamelei's chances at the 2026 Arnold Classic physique division. He faces guys like Mike Sommerfeld, Sam Sulik, Kim Angel, Matthias Menengate. But could we see a massive upset from him, I think is the question. Now, next up in the news, we got an interesting update from Andrew Jack today. Another series of just training videos, and not like an actual physique update, but I thought the caption here was really interesting. So he says, the goal isn't the size game anymore, but rather a more pretty, crispy conditioned, I'm assuming he meant physique, while achieving that we also fixing the lagging body parts, trusting the process and my team, and passionately enjoying the sport to the max regardless of the results, which of course can't define who I'm going to be because the future is already decided and planned out. Yes, sir. And then in another video post on his Instagram, he says, ever since I stepped my foot on stage, Andrew Jack has been a name to reckon with. I've been climbing the ladder. First Olympia 2022, my debut year, where nobody thought anything would happen. I got 8th place and I had COVID. Olympia, I was 5th. The third Olympia, I was 5th. And the 4th Olympia, which was this most recent one, he was 3rd. So he has consistently moved up every year, except for the 2 years where he was back-to-back 5th. But you can see the trajectory of his career. The next stop would be top 2 or winning. He's never gone backwards at the Olympia, which is significant. I mean, this certainly is the type of career trajectory you would expect from a guy that's one day going to win the Olympia. Not moving backwards, always moving up. I think it does, of course, we got the Arnold Classic before we have the Olympia. And I think winning the Arnold Classic would be a massive step forward towards that goal. Because winning the Arnold is something that he's never done before. So if you go constantly moving up your Olympia placings every year, and then winning the Arnold in 2026, it does set him up to have then his best Olympia appearance ever in 2026, which to improve on 3rd could only be 2nd or 1st. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you think Andrew Jack has a legitimate shot at winning the 2026 or any future Mr. Olympia? Now, I'm sure I know a lot of your guys' answer is going to be yes. I don't think it's impossible either. I think Andrew Jack has all the tools. It's just a matter of if he puts together the condition needed and maybe still just brings up his lower body slightly more. I think eventually he could get there. Now, I'm curious to see what happens at the Arnold. Again, there's speculation now that maybe Hadi Choopan doesn't make it. But like I said in the previous video, I think that with Hadi, this has happened a lot where there's a political situation in Iran and we think he's not going to be able to get here. But he always ends up getting here. So I'm not going to doubt that he's going to be at the Arnold. But of course, if he's not, I think that really leaves the door wide open for Andrew Jack. Because in my opinion, Hadi is the guy to beat here. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Now, next up in the news, not necessarily pro bodybuilding related, but still bodybuilding related. Famous bodybuilder, influencer, YouTuber, Cali Muscle apparently suffered a major health scare this weekend at the gym, where he collapsed in a California gym. And this is according to TMZ, who I guess confirmed all this information with his ex-wife. So apparently he collapsed, he passed out, he was rushed to the hospital for treatment. They still don't know at this time why or what the issue was, the status of his current condition. And there have been no updates since this was initially reported by TMZ about 18 hours ago at this point. And it is worth pointing out, as you guys might remember, that Cali in the last couple of years had recently suffered a heart attack, and that's when he started to lose all that weight. So it could be connected, but again, there have been no updates posted. So hoping for the best for Cali Muscle. Thoughts and prayers with his friends and family. Now, next up in the news, an update on the Japan situation with the IFBB and NPC. Now, it looks like a new organization and a new page has been created for that organization. The new promoters of the Japanese IFBB Pro League and NPC bodybuilding shows. Now, they posted this message to the fans with this New Era Begins post. The new promoter is going to be Sally Sasaki, and the new director will be Shoki Takuda. And they put up this kind of mission statement post, which says, we provide a competition platform where all individuals who love training can challenge themselves beyond levels and nationalities without confining bodybuilding and fitness to a single definition. We are committed to fair judging and professional event management in full compliance with the global standards of the IFBB Professional League. And through these challenges, we demonstrate to society that fitness is a value that cultivates both physical and mental strength, enriching lives as a whole. Now, they posted their new schedule for 2026, which now includes 3 pro qualifiers, including the Olympia Amateur Japan, and 2 open pro shows. So it looks like good news for Japanese bodybuilding competitors, fans, and athletes. Because of course this news comes shortly after the news a couple days ago that the previous promoter, the one who did not pay the Masters Olympia competitors and the association with the FWJ, the Fitness World Japan, which is why I think this new organization was created, but that's just speculation. And the IFBB took away their sanction because of that. So now they've restructured, created a new organization, and now they've worked things out and came to an agreement with the IFBB to still continue to hold IFBB and NPC shows in Japan. So it looks like, according to this, they've got everything sorted out, and bodybuilding will continue in Japan. Now, next up in the news, back to classic physique for a second, going into the 2026 Arnold Classic 7 weeks out. Another guy that has really caught my eye and looked impressive, Kim Angel. Conditioning-wise, some of these recent updates that we're seeing from Kim Angel, another really gnarly looking guy from a conditioning standpoint. Impressively winning a total of 3 pro shows, making him the second winningest classic physique guy in 2025, right behind Terrence Ruffin, Ruff Diesel. Now, he was 16th at the Olympia, so in this lineup, when we're talking about some of these bigger name guys, such as Menendez, such as Mike Sommerfeld, he's not necessarily apparent, like super apparent in that conversation for top 2, top 3, but he did win the 2025 Nutra Yummy Cup. He was second at the Prague Pro, right behind Ruff Diesel again, and then at the Linda Murray Pro, that was another win, and then the Tupelo Pro in 2025, another win. But again, some of these updates that we've seen from him lately at 7 weeks out, he seems to be one of the more conditioned, grainier guys in this lineup. And I think I'm so fascinated by this classic physique lineup. I think, number one, because there's so many guys that are just posting daily updates. We have a lot to talk about and look forward to when it comes to this show. So many guys competing that are just frequently posting. Number 2, we have the question of, can anybody challenge Mike Sommerfeld here? And number 3, we have the question of, these are all the guys standing in Sam Sulek's way at his pro debut. Is it possible for him to beat any of them? Because a lot of them look incredible, like Kim Angel, even though we're talking about a 16th place guy at the Olympia. And if we look at some of the latest physique updates from Mike Sommerfeld, I do kind of feel like he's in a league of his own in this lineup. By far the highest Olympia placer 2 times in a row now. He's the defending champion, and I think, you know, specifically his lower body, he's in a different class as some of these guys. The next closest Olympia placer, 5 placings behind him. I think he would have to really mess up here, really come in totally off to not win this show. But there's always a chance. Anything can happen in bodybuilding. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Now, the final story that I've got for you guys today, the latest physique update of Nick Walker at exactly 7 weeks out from the 2025 Arnold Classic. A lot of talk about Nick Walker going into this show, and rightfully so. One of the more disappointing showings of the year at the 2025 Mr. Olympia, and a lot of people looking forward to seeing Nick hopefully get some redemption. The biggest possible redemption, of course, would be winning the Arnold Classic, $750,000 for first place, a really elite level lineup: Hadi Chubin, Andrew Jack, Martin Fitzwater. If Nick were able to win this show, tremendous feather in his cap, and I think it puts Nick certainly back on the map. And that's why I think it's kind of unlikely that he'll win this show. And of course, we talked in the last video about how recently on the Overcome podcast, Bob Ciccarello was talking about Nick Walker. He has been 4th. He thinks he should do the Detroit Pro. And like I said in that video, I don't think that's an unreasonable prediction. I think most people probably have Andrew Jack and Hadi Chubin battling it out in 1st and 2nd. And I think most people have Martin Fitzwater and Nick Walker battling it out in 3rd and 4th. So I don't think 4th place is a super unreasonable prediction. I think there's always a possibility, like I just said with Mike Sommerfeld, anybody could win this show. People could come in off. Maybe somebody like Hadi Chubin is unable to get there and unable to compete, and that kind of opens the door for any of those guys, Nick, Martin, and Andrew, to win the title, because all 3 of them have beaten each other at some point. But I will say, if we're just talking about physique updates, I've got to admit, Nick Walker is towards the front of the pack in terms of most impressive physique updates, and he's really the only one that's posting a lot of physique updates. You're not seeing much from Martin, you're not seeing much from Andrew. Hadi has gone kind of radio silent lately, which kind of concerns me a little bit. And Nick has only been the most active, but like I said, I don't think it's likely that he'll win the Arnold. I don't think it's impossible. He certainly could. And that's why I don't think the Detroit Pro recommendation is a bad recommendation. From what I'm hearing, it's going to be a pretty decent lineup. It's not going to be as competitive as the Arnold Classic. I don't think Hadi or Andrew are doing it. And I think Nick has a much better chance of winning Detroit than winning the Arnold, and maybe even a better chance than if he goes ahead and goes on to try to win, you know, Pittsburgh or New York. And at least if he won Detroit, he could secure a very early Olympia qualification, because again, at this point, Nick Walker is still unqualified for the 2026 Mr. Olympia. So that's important, because if he doesn't do well at the Arnold, like I said, it's not the end of the world, but he will still need to qualify if he intends on doing the Olympia this year. So that's something to think about. And I think it's probably a wise suggestion for Nick to have a backup plan. I mean, if he won the Detroit show early in the year, then he's got nothing to worry about for the Olympia and can just focus on that the rest of the year. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Nick Walker's chances at the 2026 Arnold Classic, Nick Walker's chances in 2026 in general at the Olympia, at qualifying for the Olympia. Let me know in the comments down below. That's going to wrap it up for the video, guys. I hope you did, in fact, enjoy it. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, click that bell notification.
It's been about 4 days since Drewski released his Mega Church skit, and most people agree that this particular expose showed the actual truth of what happens in many black churches, especially in the Black American community. That is exactly who the Mega Church skit was produced for. because most of us could relate to it. And this part of the skit is probably the defining moment for me.
We are not letting anyone leave until we reach our goal, amen? Hallelujah. Life savings here. Give us some praise for that.
In this portion, Drewski gives the opportunity for his members to give up their life savings so that he could benefit from it. And of course, I thought some major pastor in the United States would get pissed about it. And I was almost right, because a pastor did get pissed off about it. A very famous pastor got pissed off about it. It's not in America. This pastor has a church somewhere else.
By the way, I'm not finding anything a comedian is doing to the church funny. Don't send it to me, don't be mad. I'm not on that. We're not laughing at what's not funny. The church is under attack. And you know how much I don't like the setting of the church. You know I don't like it. And I'm not on what they are on. But when these people run out of jokes, they just go to the church. Like, bro, like, you can think, you know, not having it. We all came out of the church system. Some of your known actors and actresses, they were raised with those offerings. It's within our own right, my right as a leader, as a pastor, to correct the church. Not a joke. Churches give to their community more than rappers do. The most stingy pastor is still a better giver than the great.
Wait, there's more.
Test rapper, because he's giving out of what he doesn't have. You know what you've been doing. You know how much you sacrifice for your community. You know what you do. You know how many people you've housed. The fact that we don't know that about other pastors does not mean it doesn't exist, because I know it exists. You can't tell someone that's been working community for 30, 40 years that they can't raise money. If the people don't want to give it, they should not give it. You are leaders. Separate what's funny from what's not. No? Cross the line. Don't laugh with them. Don't start gisting. It's not us. We are still the church. Churches have issues. We all have issues. And we're gonna just fight. We're gonna fight ourselves to make ourselves better. Not the one putting their nose because they can't create anymore. No way.
This guy is known as Pastor Toby. His real name is Toby Adegboyega. He's actually a Nigerian, and he has a church called, I don't know if it's Nexion Family. It used to be called SPAC or SPAC Nation, which is Salvation Proclaimers Anointed Church. And as you can see, he's decked out. I mean, he has like some expensive hat on in the church. You know, if you go to his Instagram, you will see all sorts of levels of luxury. I mean, he has everything on, like new suits, new jewelry, new cars, everything but Jesus. And it's okay for a pastor to come against Drewski and say that, hey, the attack is coming against the church. If you are living a lifestyle of a man that actually is doing right by the people, I mean, I can accept this criticism if you're a pastor and you have a strong congregation and you really just think that Drewski took it this far. But there are some real problems with this Toby guy.
I don't know about y'all, but I've never seen Pastor Toby preach. I've never seen that man pray. And I don't even think I've ever seen him quote a Bible. But I've seen Birkin bags. I've seen foreign cars. And now I'm seeing digital concerts. At what point does the pastoring start?
So this young lady is saying, hey, she's never heard him praying, never heard him doing anything religious, but he's supposed to be a pastor. But guys, there is more to this.
This Pastor Toby guy, look, there's flashing money everywhere, bro. All the allegations, if they're not true, yeah, then he's done a great job getting a bunch of young people together under the banner of Jesus Christ. I just find it very strange the way they glamorize materialism. They wear Louis Vuittons and red bottoms and jewelry and fast cars. It's like, if you hear allegations of people getting scammed for money and stuff like that, it's just difficult to look at this man and not think there's more to this story.
Now, Pastor targets young people to come to his church. And one of the criticisms that is about him in the UK, now he is a Nigerian guy. Number one, he's there illegally. We'll get into that later. But he typically rents out these very expensive hotel rooms. And he has these young people, give up a lot of money to be in his church. They will max out credit cards. They will do things like, give up their school loans. And they will do all kinds of stuff to make Pastor Toby happy. And this is interesting because Drewski himself was making fun of preachers just like Pastor Toby, who are all about the money. Look at Pastor Toby's Instagram again. You tell me, was Drewski not making fun of a guy like this? But then it gets worse.
Imagine, man, a footballer like trying to plead his innocence and say, yo, we're talking about my wife has robbed me for everything and scammed me and run over, and Pastor Toby got her to do all of this. And then the Toby guys are disgusting.
Now, you may not have caught all of that, right? But the young man is saying that this is disgusting behavior from Pastor Toby. Well, see, what happened was in 2024, there was a Nigerian soccer player by the name of Kayode Olarinwahu, and he initiated a divorce against his wife, Azine Dora. Now, he accused his wife of stealing, kidnapping, and then having an affair with the famous UK-based pastor Toby, among other men since they got married. So basically, according to what was going on in the blogs in the Nigerian community in the UK and all across the diaspora of Nigeria, was that Pastor Toby was using this lady to siphon funds from her soccer-playing husband to give to him. It was a big story all across the internet. And again, this is what that Drewski was making fun of. I mean, obviously it is. But then, wait a minute. There's more.
Bro, Pastor Toby needs to get cancelled like this, like genuinely. But one time I found myself in a Spanish service, bro, all these guys were talking about was just their giving story, giving all their money to the church. Bro, at least 4 different representatives or whatever, they came up here and they was just talking about how they had no money in their account, all the last piece they had, they put it all to the church. They had no way of getting home, they still found a way to get home. I'm thinking, bro, are you all this preaching, bro? Even when Pastor Toby himself came on, all he spoke about, all he said, bro, he couldn't even give him up a scripture, bro. All he just said was, even if you have no money to go home, give all the lost money you have to the church. I'm like, bro, how are people falling for this level of hypnosis, bro?
So Pastor Toby in the UK, not only is he out here, wearing all of this luxury stuff, he's forcing his members into being poor. They're giving their last money where they can't even, let's just say, for example, go home from the church service. Imagine that. You go to church to find the Lord, and you find yourself not being able to go home because Pastor Toby needs his money to buy a whole new outfit, and you're in financial distress. Again, this is something that Drewski was trying to make fun of, while, Pastor Toby is trying to call it. The only real fat thing that's going on here is how fat your pockets are from breaking your members. But wait, there's more.
I was actually beginning to think that this guy was going to get away with all the things that he has done, Do you see how God works? Man said you're going back to Nigeria first class tomorrow. One-way ticket back to Nigeria, back to square one. Let him wear his designer clothes to the airport. If he likes, as he's on his way, he can even be singing Drippy, Drippy. Toby, before you get to the airport, please make sure you do a drip check. We want to see how your drip is. And make sure you film it as well. No more Fendi, 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 Fendi. Offending people in Fendi. If he likes, let him go to Nigeria and be offending people in Fendi then.
Now this pastor is supposed to be facing deportation from the UK over a £1.87 million fraud. And for you guys that want to know what that is in US dollars, it's $2.5 million. He appealed this case and lost it, and he's supposed to be, going back to Nigeria at any point now. And it's interesting that a guy that has these many problems is talking about the fact that Drewski is coming against the church. And the reality is that hit dogs tend to holler once they're being exposed. you look at this guy and the problems that he's having in his personal life, I mean, imagine you're coming from a place like Nigeria, you come into the UK, you come in and you target the youth. And then what you're doing is stealing their money. What you're doing is taking from them. What you're doing is making people poor so that you can live your life. And then when somebody makes fun of what you're doing, you don't have any accountability for it because the person's talking about you. Now, this is also interesting because this person, Drewski, is in Atlanta. He's, not even thinking about the Black UK. But it just goes to show how inspired that many of these African pastors are by Black American church culture. They really, really, really want to be, in many cases, like Black Americans. They even want to adopt the worst part of Black American